Is this Bon? It is Bon! Wait, I thought he died! My hands had been tied behind my back and around the leg of my loft bed. Oh shoot, she tied him up! I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm not picking up anything. You put it down right now. How's it going, everybody? HoodlaMutt here, back with some more Chaos Head Noah. And last time, we were rocking and rolling, trying to get through all the stuff we've already been through to get to Yua's ending, and we had just breached it to actually start on her path. And the most pertinent information that was new was that Yua apparently ran into Suwa, and Suwa tricked her into believing that that Takumi really was the new gen killer and did the group dive stuff and killed me and all that crap, and that was basically their encounter. The rest of it has been stuff we've pretty much already seen for the most part, so not a whole lot more to talk about there. So I guess without any further ado, let's just get into this, shall we? Oh, okay, it won't let me skip. Got you. Okay. The 7th case. It happened again. Another new gen. How long was this darn thing gonna go on for? Was I next? Would I be the victim of the 8th case? The 9th? Anxiety aside, Grim was pretty much the new gen news guy at this point. He'd been keeping me in the loop about basically everything. Even now, he was going out of his way to link a bunch of blog posts and news articles about it. It seemed like he really wanted me to take a look. Biting my lip, I reluctantly clicked the first link. At the end of the news clip, photographs of the 3 victims were shown. I had seen those faces before. It's them. The guys who beat me up yesterday. I'd given them my wallet, but they'd kicked my butt anyway. I'd then fallen unconscious, and when I'd woke up, Kozupi was beside me. The 3 of them had been collapsed on the ground, covered in blood. I dug my wallet out of my pocket and stared at it intently. When I came to, Kozupi had been carrying it, and she'd given it back to me soon after. Could the person who'd killed those 3 be? Oh, so he's suspecting her now. He used to suspect himself only. No, definitely not. The last time I'd seen them, they had been beaten to a pulp and covered in blood, but they hadn't been cut in half or anything. Which would mean they'd been killed after Kozupi and I had left. Huh. It had to have been Shogun after all. Was he trying to provoke me? Was I next? Would I be the next one to die? It was also possible that Shogun could show up in person again. He seemed to be playing with me like it was some kind of game after all. Maybe he'd feel like sending me on another quest soon. Just the thought alone terrified me. Emi, save me. Please. Where did you go? Weren't you supposed to protect me? Interesting. Just now, there'd been a knock at the door. Someone was there. I looked at the clock on my PC. It was past 8 p.m. Who in their right mind would show up this late? Wait. Emi! It had to be her! She'd finally come to save me! She'd said she would stay by my side, hadn't she? So it only made sense that she'd come back to me. Would it have killed her to come a little earlier, though? Feeling like my salvation was at hand, I practically threw myself at the door. I then removed the padlock and opened the door. Is it gonna be you? Dee! I tried to call out Themy's name, but a hand suddenly clamped my mouth shut. Oh? Panic instantly overwhelmed me. I didn't even have a chance to see who it was. I tried forcing the hand off of my mouth, but before I could, my attacker threw all their weight against me and I staggered backward. Still, I desperately tried to stand my ground. I flailed my arms around wildly, thinking it'd somehow help me break their grasp. I then opened my mouth wide and bit down on their hand as hard as I could. But despite that, my attacker remained silent. They weren't even fazed. I'd bitten down with all my strength, so they must have been in pain. But they still didn't let go. They'd pressed against me even harder, causing me to lose my balance. No longer able to resist, I fell to the floor with them on top of me. Ooh! The back of my head hit the ground so hard, I nearly lost consciousness. My vision started to go blurry, and I couldn't tell how exactly I'd landed. And to top it off, the assailant was still covering my mouth. So tightly, in fact, that I could barely breathe. My consciousness was starting to fade, so before I blacked out, I desperately tried to get a glimpse of the person who'd attacked me. Huh? Yeah, I had a feeling it'd be Yua. You... what? Oh, frick! I'd completely forgotten about her. I was so focused on Shogun, his #1 underling slipped my mind. Realizing that, the sheer terror sent shivers down my entire body. I struggled as hard as I could, desperately trying to escape. But under the full weight of her body, I couldn't move an inch. Under normal circumstances, I would have been focused on the fact that our bodies were pressed together. But I lacked the capacity for that right now. Now wasn't the time to be drooling over female contact. There was only one thing on my mind. I needed to get away somehow, or she'd kill me. Blood trickled out of Yua's hand where I'd bitten her. Even so, she kept pressing down with all her might. Her grip just as intense as when she'd first grabbed hold of me. She was trying relentlessly to keep my jaw shut, to the point where her nails were digging into my cheek. A sharp stabbing pain pierced through my body. It was you! Her mutters came between ragged breaths, much to my horror. I had to keep resisting, so I grabbed Yua's long hair and pulled hard. But Yua still didn't budge. All she did was grimace. Using her free hand, she gripped my hand tightly and dug into her nails once again. The immense pain forced me to let go. And then, using that tiny opening, she pinned my hands to the floor. It was you, wasn't it? It was you! Yua's glasses had slipped down her nose during the fight. Tears were welling up behind them, likely from the pain of me pulling her hair. Just like that day at Shoto Park, she was staring right through me with those cold, sharp eyes. You... killed... What the heck was she talking about? Was it the same bullcrap as always? Calling me the new-gen killer? I haven't killed anyone! You came here to kill me, you dumb witch! I tried to glare back at Yua, but hers was just too terrifying to confront. Nothing good could come from making eye contact with dangerous people, and I soon came to realize how true that was. How unhinged a look could really be. I looked away, wishing from the depths of my soul that I'd wake up from this nightmare. But...
Don't you dare look away!
Yua brought her face in even closer. I could feel her ragged breaths on my cheek.
Look at me.
With how close she was, it was practically impossible to look anywhere else. Her breath was incredibly hot. I wanted to headbutt her, but Yua was pressing down so hard I couldn't even lift my head off the floor.
It's all right. I'll tell you. I'll tell you all about the other you that even you aren't aware of. There is another you inside you.
DID. Multiple personalities, in other words. When we were at Cafe, Yua had said the same thing. But that was just some stupid freaking delusion of hers. She didn't know crap. And she sure as heck didn't know me better than I did. Fallacy.
Nishijo-kun, do you still not know? Are you really not aware of it? Are you thinking I'll let you go if you pretend not to know? I've warned you countless times. So why won't you listen? There's another you inside you. Shogun, as you call it. And that you is doing unspeakable, unforgivable things. And I can't let it go on any longer. I won't let even one more person be killed. You must go to the hospital and get help immediately. And if you refuse, I'll hand you over to the police. If you leave Shogun to his own devices, then all of his crimes will be on you, Nishijo-kun. You will be complicit in the murders. You need to understand that.
I don't need to understand crap!
You understand, don't you?
I didn't freaking kill anyone!
If you don't understand, then we have a problem.
I don't have multiple personalities!
You have no choice but to understand.
That's the kind of crap you only see in anime and manga and crap! This is real life! I don't have the ID, gosh darn it!
Come out. I want to speak with you. You can hear me, can't you? Shogun.
I'm not Shogun! You've got the wrong guy! Shogun is someone else! I've even met him for Pete's sake! He uses a wheelchair. He appears out of thin air like some kind of ghost. He's always reading my mind like some sick freaking pervert, and despite having the voice of a kid, he's covered in wrinkles like an old man. He's my enemy. Don't lump me in with him. Just the thought makes me want to puke. Wait, wasn't Yua supposed to be Shogun's underling? I could have sworn she was working for him. But it really did seem like she genuinely had me and Shogun mixed up.
Relax, Nishijo-kun. I just want you to go to sleep for a little while. Let Shogun take control of your body.
Even if I do go to sleep, that won't freaking happen! I don't have multiple personalities, you stupid freaking witch! I tried my hardest to say all that to her, but since her hand was still pressed firmly against my mouth, the best I could do was make a bunch of muffled groans.
Come out. Come out, Shogun! Come out now. Won't you come out? I know you can come out. You want to come out, don't you? Come out now, murderer.
Tears began to fall from my eyes. I lost all will to resist. All remaining strength left my body. I was so tired. Why? Why did I have to deal with this psycho? Why did I have to listen to all the bullcrap she spewed at me? What had I done to deserve this? This was just too much. All because this delusional stalker had come to the wrong conclusion. And now, no one would save me. Was I going to die? By her hands? Even if I didn't, even if I made it through today, there'd be no guarantee I'd survive tomorrow. Shogun could still show up at any time. Would I have to live the rest of my life in fear? Please. I didn't want that. I didn't want to live like that. I'd rather go insane and then get locked up in some mental facility somewhere. I'd rather die right here, right now. Why are you crying? Yua slowly began to remove her hand from my mouth. And then, she started lifting herself off me. As soon as her weight was completely off, I felt instant relief. Has Shogun come out yet? I shook my head lifelessly. I can't do it anymore. Just kill me. I won't kill you. I won't let you get killed either. You will atone for your crimes. And you will reveal the truth. I won't let you escape. Not even through death. I won't allow it. I won't allow that to happen. Shogun is somebody else. He's the new gen culprit. You are Shogun. It's you. It can't be anyone else but you. My words had gone in one ear and out the other. She refused to listen to me. She was completely convinced that she knew the truth. There was no point resisting. Come out, Shogun. Come out now. Didn't I tell you to come out? Why aren't you coming out? I know you're in there. I will make you come out, Shogun. And I will never let you go until I do. I will never give up. Never. What the crap was that? Suddenly, Yua stood up and went to close the open container door. She slowly picked the padlock up off the floor and used it to lock the door shut. And then, she stashed the key in the pocket of her uniform. Why was she doing this? What was she thinking? Whoa, dude, look how cool she looks, dude. She's got that anime pose. Freaking JoJo's Bizarre Adventure looking. I will never let you go. A faint murmur, spoken to no one but herself. One that chilled me to the bone. Oh no, she locked the two of them in there. Oh no. Wait, now we're in Shibuya? Wait, or the restaurant, I mean? Is this gonna be Nanami? Or maybe Dini? I don't know. Okay. Wow, that was kind of wild. So Yua just went on the hunt after she found that out. Okay. Of the countless fast food restaurants located throughout Shibuya, every single one was always packed front to back with young people. It took a lot of courage for a lone middle-aged man to come to a place like this. After all, he would be sure to stick out like a sore thumb. Oh yeah, I forgot! Wait! Bond's still alive right now? Wait! Yeah, because he should have died, right? Right? Is this Bond? It is Bond! Wait, I thought he died! Wait! I forgot. Wait, where's the timeline? Because isn't he supposed to be chasing down, he was supposed to be going to find Sua, right? Isn't that the phone call that he would have just gotten after Yua left? I think, or while what? Oh man, is this what he did between? Oh, I don't remember. Wait, oh dude. Oh, we get to see Bond again. Those were the thoughts circulating in Ban Yasuji's mind as he sipped his coffee, surrounded on all sides by young people chattering away. The drink in his paper cup was already starting to go cold. A single clear file folder sat on the table in front of him. Inside it was a handful of photocopied documents from the investigation files, many of which were adorned with Bond's countless sticky notes. Bond had arrived at the restaurant about an hour ago, the location where he planned to personally re-examine the file's contents. As for why he'd chosen such a busy place like this, he had been removed from the New Gen investigation team a few days prior, but he still wished to independently run background checks on all relevant persons. The copy of the report that Bond was sifting through, which was never intended to leave the police station, had a few images attached to it. So I don't understand where this is in the timeline. I thought he was meeting Sua right now. So, cause last time he had met with Yua, I thought that was during that time that he gets the call and then goes to find her, doesn't he? Or no, maybe he just... No, that's right. It was Sua told him about the other New Gen cases. That's right. Not that he's being held hostage. That's right. Okay, yeah, he mentioned the DQN case to Bond. That's what it was. Okay. One photograph depicted one of the victims of the first New Gen incident, the group dive. A girl named Kusunoki Miya. Bond's interest had been piqued the previous day when he had met with Miya's older sister, Kusunoki Yua. After hearing Yua describe Miya's personality, he had decided to investigate further. At first, he was also looking into rumors from around Shibuya, such as the high school girl with a sword, but in the end, every lead turned up cold. That is, except for Miya. And after reading through the documents again and again, he still felt like something was off. There was a lot of information which seemed trivial at best, or at the very least, not directly related to the case. But after putting the pieces together, something fell out of place. And when Bond had heard Yua's story yesterday, that feeling had crept up on him all the more. After all, there was something in the file that Bond could not ignore. A pair of glasses was found among the possessions of Kusunoki Miya, one of the group dive participants. Oh, dude! They're doing the whole is it Yua or is it Miya thing, isn't it? That's what they're doing again. So in the first route, Yua was Yua. Is she gonna actually be Miya this time? Huh. That was the detail that rubbed Bond the wrong way. He took a look at a list of notes taken from various interviews conducted during the investigation. Taking another sip of coffee, Bond let out a befuddled grunt. From her birth, all the way until her death, there was not a single photograph of Kusunoki Miya wearing glasses. It was her sister, Kusunoki Yua, that wore them. Okay. He had even gone so far as to obtain access to Kusunoki Miya's medical records. Sure enough, she had boasted perfect 20/20 vision, and thus had no need for glasses. Interesting. Kusunoki Miya had been a quiet girl with an interest in anime. Quite the contrast to her happy-go-lucky sister. Oh no, that is her! Oh no, dude. Wait, is it just in this route or is it like through the entire story it's been that way? Oh no. That all matched up with the description Kusunoki Yua had given. While the 5 victims of the group dive were friends, some reports suggested that their encounter on the rooftop was the first time they had ever met. Allegedly, they were online friends who had gotten together for an offline meet. Naturally, their online activity was heavily scrutinized as a part of the investigation, but there were never any signs of suicidal tendencies displayed by the victims. Wait, so they all got together because they were all nerds, that's why Mia was there, is that what he's saying? Okay. Furthermore, several hours before the group dive, 2 high school girls, who appeared to be twins, had been spotted walking into a fast food restaurant in Shibuya. Oh. Bon took a look around. He was sitting in the very same fast food restaurant mentioned in the report. Before sitting down, Bon had also taken the time to speak with one of the restaurant's employees. The employee had told him that the 2 girls had chatted for a while, then proceeded to take a 10-minute bathroom break. What on earth could have taken him so long in there? Bon wondered. He stared intently at the woman's restroom, which caught him the scornful glare of every young girl nearby. Realizing this, Bon flashed a wry smile before returning his gaze back toward the streets outside the window. So did they switch with each other? Why, if that's the case? What? I don't understand. Because they're definitely trying to say that maybe she has DID, right? That's what the first route was kind of saying. But then she was like, no, I actually am Yua. And she had that whole thing, right? But is she the one that actually has DID and doesn't realize it? 2 people inside of her type of a deal where Takumi is actually 2 different people? I don't know. Dang, I don't know. I don't know what that means. "18 excruciating hours had passed since Yua had raided my container. My hands had been tied behind my back and around the leg of my loft bed. Oh shoot, she tied him up? Wait, what? Dude, you let her overpower you, bro? That's That's so pathetic. Dude. Oh my gosh. Fortunately, I'd been tied sitting down, so it wasn't too exhausting. Unfortunately, the rope coiled around my wrists was constantly digging into them, which was fairly painful. I somehow managed to doze off for around 3 hours during that time, but it didn't do me any good. I was still very sleepy, likely due to the fact that no one could get any half-decent sleep like this. Darn it! I wasn't into this S&M crap at all. If only I could hit decline on this RP invite. Yua was still sitting on the sofa, watching me. She had been doing so all night. Dude, how have you been peeing, dude? She really had been putting her all into it, too. She did nothing else the entire time. Did she ever sleep? What was she even trying to accomplish here to begin with? Suwa was convinced that I had DID, but I knew that wasn't true. She could wait like that all she wants, but Shogun would never come out. She hadn't gagged me, and actually allowed me to speak right after she tied me down. Of course, I'd taken full advantage of that to voice the above thoughts over and over again, but they just went in one ear and out the other. After a few hours of trying to change her mind, I realized how obstinate she really was, so I just gave up. And after that... You created Shogun. You are Shogun. He is simply a mechanism for you to escape reality.
Shogun is none other than you, yourself. But at the same time, he is his own separate existence. Another you that exists within you. The embodiment of your dark side. An existence crafted to protect your fragile mind. Your madness. You are a murderer that takes pleasure in every kill. One who doesn't care about the who. One who doesn't care about the how. One who exists just to kill. And it doesn't matter who you kill, does it? Does it? Why did you choose Mia? Answer me. Answer me now. Please answer me. I want you to answer. You need to answer, or else.
She's just interrogating him, dude. Whoa. Yua kept mumbling her pathological ramblings over and over and over again, never coming up for air. My room was extremely small, and my only means of covering my ears, my hands, were tied up, so I had no choice but to listen. I thought I was going insane. On top of that, I felt as if I'd only gotten to experience the tip of the iceberg. I started trying to think of a way to escape. I tried pulling the toilet card to weigh my chances of getting out of here. But it didn't work. She did untie my hands and allow me to go, but she followed me very closely. She stood right behind me the entire time, never taking her eyes off of me, even when I was doing my business. Oh, so she did let him go to the bathroom. Dude, she even let you go. That's what toilet card meant, by the way. It just connected that piece. Dude, she even let you go and you couldn't freaking... Dude. This guy, man. Literally, dude, you probably just got to shove her and she'd fall down. And to make matters worse, she even continued spouting those insane ramblings of hers from behind my back. How long was this crap gonna go on for? I couldn't even get some actual sleep, because who knows when this witch was gonna snap and kill me out of nowhere. Then again, even if I was awake, I wasn't confident I'd be able to defend myself anyway. Well, obviously, you're freaking such a beta. Like, she unties you and you still don't do anything.
What triggers it? What does it take to make you come out? Physical pain? Psychological pain? Sexual urges? Invoking trauma? Or is it simply by chance?
Yua's murmurs suddenly came to a stop. But even then, she was still glaring at me. The room had become dead silent. And yet, given the circumstances, the stillness only served to make me even more tense. Suddenly, the sound of a stomach growling broke the silence. I hadn't had anything to eat or drink, so I was obviously hungry. But that still hadn't been me just now. Which meant that Yua was hungry too. Moreover, I was sure I'd heard a stomach growling, but Yua's lack of reaction almost made me reconsider. Normal girls, Seiratan for example, would have had a way cuter reaction. Yeah, she'd most likely say something like this.
What? It ain't my fault. Yeah, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse, but I've been trying so hard to hold it in, so it's only natural. Huh? You want to know why? Well, last time, you said I was putting on a couple of pounds. But It's not like I went on a diet because you told me that or anything. Don't take it the wrong way, you big dum-dum.
Gosh.
What a classic tsundere. As transparent as a glass window. Seira, you're so cute when you get mad and blush like that, Seira. Darn it. The situation I was in really was making me want to escape into my delusions. Don't you want to eat? Yua's tone was as ice cold as ever. As I was still sitting, she lowered her gaze down to my feet. A plate had been placed in front of them. It was a plate full of pasta, tarako spaghetti to be precise, served with a finely cut seaweed garnish. However, it'd already been sitting there for around 2 hours, so the pasta probably was all dry and sticky by now. She's gonna feed him, dude. Gosh darn it. She's gonna feed him. I can already see where this is going. He's gonna be like, how am I supposed to eat with my hands tied up? And she's gonna be like, well, I guess I could feed you, even though you're a murderer. And then she's gonna feed him and they're gonna have a CG for that. Dude, I've already seen into the future, dude. I already know, dude. I'm telling you, man, I'm secretly Doctor Strange. You just don't know it yet. In like a parallel, universe in the world line just adjacent to ours, I'm Doctor Strange, bro. Oh my gosh. Yua had made it for me. She tied me up and left without saying a word, then came back about 30 minutes later with a heaping plate of pasta. It would seem she'd gone to the supermarket, bought the ingredients, then cooked them into a pasta for me outside of the container house. What was she plotting by making me a home-cooked meal? I couldn't wrap my head around it. She could have just bought something that was ready-made at the convenience store. Maybe she'd poisoned it. The thought made me want to stay as far away from it as possible. Besides, it wasn't like I could eat it even if I wanted to. My hands were tied up, and the plate was at my feet. You can have it. Remembering that Yua's stomach had growled, I gave that sarcastic retort. I don't plan on torturing you physically. I'm simply waiting for Shogun to come out. So please, eat. It will be problematic if you don't. Eat. Do you really think I can eat in a situation like this? Don't be ridiculous. I knew it, dude. I called that crap. Dude, I know these tropes, dude. I've seen too much anime. I've seen too much anime, dude. I know how this works. Yua stood up, walked up to me, and then she crouched down next to me. I looked away in fear, still holding on to the hope that she'd untie the rope coiled around my hands. But of course, that wasn't what happened. Instead, Yua picked up the plate, struggled to twirl the dry-as-heck sticky pasta with a fork, and then, once she had finally managed to, she held it out to my mouth. Here. No. I'm not eating that crap. Okay, open wide. Say, ah! And its variants were events you could only experience in eroge. This was real life. When things were this tense, all her feeding me did was highlight her murderous intent all the more. At least untie me if you're gonna do crap like this. At least if I was untied, I could pretend to eat some and go, yup, this tastes like crap, take it away, okay, thanks. But here, I wasn't even afforded that. Shall I warm it up in the microwave? I just said I'm not gonna eat it. I thought about knocking the plate out of her hand with my knee, but if I did that, she'd definitely get ticked, and there was no telling what she'd do next.
The thought sent chills down my spine, so, in the end, I decided to hold back the urge.
Please understand, Nishijo-kun. I'm doing this not just to protect everyone else, but to save you too. I never, ever wanted to hurt you.
The crap are you talking about, Yua? Are you stupid? Wanna die? Who the heck did she think she was? She wanted to save me? Sure, it was true that New Gen Shogun and all that stuff scared the living crap out of me, and that I desperately wanted someone to save me. But that someone was clearly excluding Yua. I never asked to be subjected to all this crazy witch's delusions.
Eat.
Uh-oh.
Eat. Even if you have to force yourself.
There was cold pasta twirled around the fork. Yua shoved it toward my mouth.
You can eat, can't you?
Yua moved even closer, still glaring at me to no end.
Eat, please. Eat.
Suddenly, Yua stopped dead in her tracks. Why did this witch come closer and closer every time she got mad? I kept looking away and clamped my mouth shut. She must have been insane if she thought I'd ever eat something she made. I'd end up with freaking food poisoning. Wait, they didn't show anything. I'm surprised. They'll probably come later. An hour or so had passed. My stomach was still growling. I was so scared that I wanted to scream, but I couldn't.
Eat.
She's been doing it for an hour! Just sitting there. She's not even forcing him. She's just sitting there with the fork in his face. Eat, eat, eat. Over and over again.
Eat now. Didn't I tell you to eat? Eat.
Yua was still crouched down next to me, staring at me. And she was still trying to shove the pasta down my throat, too. She had stayed there the entire time, in the exact same position. Dude, I love how neurotic she is, dude. She's so funny.
Eat. Please eat. You need to eat. Eat. I want you to eat. Eat. Eat it.
Eat. Dude.
It's safe to eat. Eat it up. Eat.
Oh my gosh. She just kept on making her demands in a series of low murmurs, refusing to do anything else. I had a feeling that another hour had passed already. Dude, this is like what do you want to call this? Like not secondary, not involuntary. It's passive aggressive force feeding. That's what I was trying to say. She's like trying to passive aggressively force feed him. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I was so creeped out, I couldn't even lift a finger. I was petrified. I was a deer perpetually stuck in the headlights. She hadn't hurt me or anything, and she hadn't forced me to eat the pasta either. And yet, somehow, I felt more and more afraid of Yua with each passing moment. She was simply waiting for me to eat, and nothing else. And yet, I was still scared crapless. A normal person would have given up after about 5 minutes, but not Yua. No, Yua had kept at it for over an hour. If this were a normal version of this kind of thing, Yua would have pulled my hair, forced my mouth open, and screamed at me to, "Eat it, you scum!" But she didn't, so I didn't have the slightest clue what the heck she was thinking. She was a total freak. She was broken. No sane person could do what she was doing. She wasn't human. She couldn't be. I'm scared. 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 I was at rock bottom. I wanted to kneel down and beg for her forgiveness. My entire body was covered in a thick, disgusting sweat. I was enduring so much anguish mentally that I could hardly breathe. I didn't know what to do. I'd never had a girl stare at me from this close and for this long before. But who the heck has? If we were a couple having some lovey-dovey conversation while we rubbed our noses together or some crap, that'd be fine. But no! No. Yua just kept on repeating the same crap over and over again like a broken freaking record. But this broken record never stopped freaking glaring at me. How was this even real?
Eat. Eat it. Eat now. Eat, please. Eat.
I couldn't deal with her gaze on me any longer, so I dared to squeeze out a single word. My voice had gone hoarse. Fine. Yua's murmurs stopped. She remained completely still, in the same posture as before. I forced my mouth open. I nervously ate the pasta that she had been trying to feed me for over an hour. My mouth was already dry to begin with, and eating this withered pasta definitely didn't help. It just sucked away any remaining moisture I had left. I couldn't bear the taste, so I almost didn't chew at all as I choked the pasta down. Yua blinked a few times, surprised to see me actually eating, and like a statue come to life, she started moving again.
Does it taste good?
No, it doesn't taste good at all, I thought to myself, but there was no way I could say that to her face, so I just gave a weak nod instead.
I'm glad to hear it.
Despite what she said, Yua still had the most deadpan expression on her face. I couldn't detect even the slightest bit of happiness. She moved the fork back toward the plate she was holding, and with it, she picked up another clump of the dry, sticky pasta and held it out to my mouth once again. Did I really have to eat all of it? Would she not let me go otherwise? Oh, give me a break already. Tears started flowing from my eyes. I couldn't hold them in anymore. I was just too scared. And yet, no matter how hard I cried, Yua didn't seem to care. She would keep on doing this until I finished the entire plate. What is this freaking goofy... What is this freaking goofy situation, dude? What is this? So I ate, tears endlessly streaming down my face, and she kept on feeding me that dry, crappy pasta. By the time I'd finished all of it, I was both physically and mentally exhausted.
Are you full now? You're full, aren't you? You should be full now. Good. Then the time I spent making this for you was worth it.
In contrast to what she said, Yua's tone was cold as ice. Then at last, she took a small step away from me, placed the plate on my desk, and sat back down on the sofa. After sitting down, she looked in my direction and went right back to staring at me. And as she stared, she stopped moving. Dude, she's so weird. Don't look at me, darn it! Please stop looking at me! I did nothing but chant those words over and over inside my head, but I couldn't say them out loud. I was too scared. Was she really going to monitor me for an entire day? This was straight up psychological torture. Just the mere thought of it made me even more depressed. Why are you doing this? I was crying now, but I couldn't help but ask that. I needed to know. What did I do to you?
My younger sister died.
Huh? Younger sister? For a split second, Yua looked like she was about to cry, only to quickly resume her ice-cold expression.
She was one of the group dive victims. We were twins, and she was the younger one. Her name was Mia. I'll never let the murderer who killed my sister get away with it. That's the promise I made to myself. And then, I found you. I learned about your suffering. I wanted to find out why my sister was killed. I wanted to know the truth. I want to know why the culprit, why Shogun killed her. And I also want to save you. Please understand. You understand, right? You should understand. I'm sure you understand.
I thought back to the video of the group dive that had been uploaded to MewTube. Had one of the crying victims in the video been Yua's younger sister? I knew full well what Yua was going through. The same kind of thing had happened recently with Nanami, after all. But that didn't mean I could forgive what she was doing right now. This crazy witch had broken into my house, tied me up, and now she was holding me captive. Yeah, no way in heck could I ever feel sympathy for her after all that crap. I had completely lost track of time. My room had no windows after all. I had no way to tell what time it was.
What does "whose eyes are those eyes" mean? Why did you have the people you were about to kill say that? Why was it left as a dying message? What were you trying to convey?
Usually, I just checked the time on my phone or my PC. Not that there were any other ways to do so. But since I was still tied to the leg of my bed, I obviously couldn't use either method. The only chance I got to check the time was whenever I went to the bathroom. But even then, it was a pretty small window. But the longer this torture lasted, the harder it got for me to get up and use the toilet. I simply didn't feel the urge to go, likely because I wasn't drinking enough water. It felt as if I'd been deprived of all psychological phenomena for over a day now.
Why Darth Spider? What were you trying to accomplish by wearing that character's helmet? Does it bear some kind of religious significance? Do you aspire to be an anti-hero? Or do you just want to make a mockery of public opinion?
Yua practically didn't move an inch. She simply continued sitting on the sofa, standing up every once in a while only to sit back down right after. And her muttering hadn't stopped the entire time. How was she still talking after this long? It wasn't like I could kill time on my PC, nor could I make any calls or send any messages. I couldn't even sleep. All I could do was sit there and be assaulted endlessly with questions. Yua's mumbling was starting to sound like a mantra or something at this point. I couldn't stand being watched for this long. Sure, I had to cope with Shogun reading my mind and the sensation of being observed by the gaze. But while those things did suck, I could still at least stomach them. But I wish I could say the same about Yua's unending watch. Her gaze was so utterly devoid of any emotion or warmth that it genuinely felt as if I wasn't even there. Like my very existence itself was constantly being ignored, if not outright denied by her. Regardless, the point is that I knew nothing about what was going on in the outside world. And I wouldn't, no, couldn't, as long as I was tied up. I had lost all perception of time. I didn't know how many days had passed since I'd been tied up. I had a feeling that 2 days or so had gone by, but it sure as heck felt more like a month. Being deprived of my freedom of movement was really stressful. Every minute of however many hours had passed, I would think to myself, I need to look at a clock. That was the sole thing on my mind. Or perhaps... Huh? Yua's head suddenly tilted. She took off her glasses and rubbed the eyelids that occulted her bleary eyes. She was only human, I'd imagine, so she was finally starting to get tired. She hadn't caught a wink of sleep the entire time, after all. Maybe she should have thought this through before doing it. She was just wasting her time. Nothing would come of any of this. This never would have happened if she'd just listened to me. When are you going to come out? Her whispers were practically delirious. Come out? She must have still been talking about Shogun. How can I get you to come out? Won't you come out? Unfortunately for you, he won't be coming out no matter how much you plead. Because he's not there to begin with. I will keep waiting. I will wait. When silence took over the room once more, Yua's body slowly tilted over. Uh-huh. With all her strength gone, she fell to her side on the sofa. Had she fallen asleep? Had her batteries finally run out? I breathed a sigh of relief, and all the tension in my body released along with it. I hadn't had a single moment to relax the entire time she'd been staring at me, and now that she wasn't, I could finally take it easy for a bit. Taki, why aren't you using your noggin here? Seratan's voice rang out from beside my monitor. Isn't this your chance to skedaddle? Maybe you could even turn the tables on her and tie her up instead. She's completely defenseless. And then, you can do whatever you want with her, you big dum-dum. You don't give him freaking... Get out of here! Go away! He doesn't need help with that. Oh, I see. So I can degrade her and train her into becoming the perfect sex slave. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm not picking up anything. You put it down right now. Put it down. Don't pick anything up. Put it down. Yua was still lying on the sofa, so I took a nervous glance at her. To be honest, if I ignored everything else, her sleeping face was actually pretty cute. It reminded me of when we first met, that gentle smile she'd had. I obviously didn't know what Yua had really been thinking back then, nor that she'd seen me as a murderer. If anything, I saw her as an enemy, as one of Shogun's underlings. But it was her fault for making me think that. She was the one who'd deceived me, who'd betrayed me. So if I wanted to degrade her and turn her into my sex slave, this witch had no right to complain. Dude, I'm not even going to comment. I peeked at Yua's sleeping face once more. Her eyelids twitched erratically. and her face contorted in a pained expression. Then, from the corner of her eye, a single tear ran down her cheek. Could she be having a nightmare about her dead sister?
Taki, aren't you gonna make her your slave? Gosh dang.
After seeing her shed a tear like that, I'd already lost the drive.
Even after she had you all locked up and bondaged up? Oh, Taki, you're so noble. So kind, too. Heck, too kind. That's one of the things I love about you. But maybe you should think about doing away with all that just this once, considering how perfect this opportunity is?
That's not what I meant. Of course I wasn't going to forgive Yua that easily. I just didn't have the strength to be angry with her, nor to even resist at all. It was all gone, completely sapped. Was it because of the huge release in tension? Or could it have been because she told me about her little sister? It didn't really feel like Yua wanted to hurt me or anything, weird as that might sound. Suddenly, I was struck with an intense drowsiness, and so, I surrendered my body to the feeling, allowing myself to forget, if only for a moment, the pain my bound wrists were being tortured by. I'll think a way out of this later.